Good evening, everyone. Welcome to iQuanta. So, topics for today. What are the topics that we are going to discuss? Simple interest, compound interest, then average mixture allegation, time speed distance, and time and work. Four major topics of arithmetic. All right. So, अभी तक जो फॉर्मूला रिवीजन के सेशंस हैं कैसे जा रहे हैं? गुड इवनिंग रॉकी. सो ये सेशन हेल्पफुल हैं या नहीं है? टेल मी दिस. गुड आफ्टरनून आदित्य. Good evening, Rashi. Okay, so there is a bit of confusion in time and distance. Okay, not a problem. We are going to clear those confusion in today's class. Okay, जो भी होगा. Hello बलवंत. So आप लोगों ने पहले की क्लास देखी है? अगर नहीं देखी है सो आई विल सजेस्ट ऑल ऑफ यू दैट यू वॉच दोज सेशंस. रॉकी इज इन एवरी सेशन एंड ही इज सेइंग दैट दीज सेशंस आर वेरी हेल्पफुल. सो ऑफ कोर्स you should watch those sessions, right? Now let's start with our first topic, which is simple interest and compound interest, and we are going to start with simple interest. Okay, now in case of simple interest we can say P is the principal, A is the amount means final amount, A is the final amount, R is a rate of interest per annum, rate of interest per annum, and T is time. Then how do we calculate simple interest? So the formula, or let me write it, simple interest is basically denoted by SI. Okay, so how do we calculate this simple interest? SI is equal to PRT upon 100. This is the formula for simple interest. Now using this, we can also calculate the rate of interest, which will be equal to SI into 100 upon P into T. Then we can calculate the time as well using the same formula. We need to change it a little bit. SI into 100 upon P into R. Then we can say the principal P will be equal to SI into 100 divided by R into T. Okay, so these are the important concepts related to all the concepts of simple interest. Balwant, this is a formula revision session. Okay, so we are going to discuss all the formula in this topic. Good evening, Khushi. Now, if we talk about more of this, we can say amount A will be equal to principal plus SI. Okay, or if you want to write amount in terms of principal, time and rate of interest, then this will be P into RT upon 100. All right. P upon RT upon 100, P into 1 plus RT upon 100. Now, in case of simple interest, there is not many interesting questions, only the uses of these formulae. Apart from that, you will find one interesting question, and that is, let's say, if a principal if a principal becomes x times of itself in t years, then time, let's say this is n, is required for the same principal with same rate of interest to become y times of itself. Will be, what do we do here? We say n is equal to y minus 1 upon x minus 1 into t. Usually in these type of questions, what we try to do is we try to find the rate of interest and then we try to use it to find the time, okay? But using this formula, you can directly solve this type of question. Like if a principal becomes 10 times of itself, then in how much time it will become 28 times of itself. If a principal becomes 4 times of itself, then in how much time it will become 15 times of itself, 16 times of itself, and so on. Okay, you can use this formula in that scenario. All right. Dhruv, LR lecture is still going on. No problem. Attend the LR session. Okay, and then join it. All right. Now, after that, we are going to, now in this case again, this is simple interest, okay, by simple interest. If a principal becomes x times of itself in t years, then it says same rate of interest to become y times of itself will be. Now this in context of simple interest, by simple interest, then you can use this formula, okay. Now, then comes compound interest. In case of compound interest, what we can say is, again, P is the principal, R is the rate of interest, T is the time, A is the amount. Then we can say amount A is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 to the power T. Okay, R is the rate of interest per annum, T is the time. From there, what else we can say is, if I need to find the compound interest will be equal to amount minus principal P. All right. Then comes that if interest is being compounded m times a year, if interest is being compounded m times a year, then what will be the formula to find out the total amount? Amount will be equal to P into 1 plus R by M divided by 100 to the power T into M. If interest is being compounded half yearly, then M will be equal to 2. If interest is being compounded quarterly, then M will be equal to 4. So it could be given any value, that interest is being compounded after every month, interest is being compounded after every 2 months. So in all those kind of scenarios, what you can do, you can use M in this formula, okay, and find out the total amount, and then you can find out the compound interest. Then the fourth one, if rate of interest per annum is R1%, R2%, R3%, and so on in first year, second year, third year, and so on respectively, then we can say that what will be the total amount? In that case, the total amount A will be equal to P into 1 plus R1 by 100 into 1 plus R2 upon 100 into 1 plus R3 upon 100 and so on. So if rate of interest is different every year, then you can use this formula to find out the total amount. Okay? Is that clear to everyone? Batao. Have you solved question like this where rate of interest is different every year? है ना? Then you can use this. Okay, clear? Now, in case of compound interest and in case of compound interest, again, the similar question that we did previously will be asked in this case as well. Like if a principal becomes X times of itself in, let's say, T years, then time N is required for this principal to become Y times of itself, with same rate of interest, will be, now in this case we can say N is equal to K into T. N is equal to K into T, where what is K? So X to the power K is equal to Y. Okay. So again, similar question can be asked in compound interest as well, that a particular principal becomes 3 times of itself in 5 years, then in how many years it will become 9 times of itself? If a principal becomes 4 times of itself, then in how many years it will become 64 times of itself? So in those kind of situation, in those kind of questions, you can use this formula directly. All right? Is that clear? बताओ, है कोई डाउट यहाँ पे? Okay, no doubts. All right, then let's go to the next part, which is difference between compound interest and simple interest. Difference between compound interest and simple interest. What we can say, the difference between compound interest after 1 year minus simple interest after 1 year will be equal to 0. Then what will be the difference in compound interest after total compound interest after 2 years minus simple interest after 2 years? So in terms of principal and rate of interest, this will be P into R by 100 square. Okay, and This we can improvise a little bit, that compound interest for second year, compound interest for only the second year minus simple interest for only second year. This will also be equal to P into R by 100 whole square. Why? Because for the first year, the difference is 0. So whatever difference is there after 2 years in total, it's because of the difference in the second year. Then comes compound interest, total compound interest after 3 years minus total simple interest after 3 years. This is equal to P into R by 100 whole square 3 plus R by 100. This is the total difference between compound interest and simple interest after 3 years. Then one bonus concept, which is compound interest for 2 years and simple interest for 2 years. This is equal to 2 plus R by 100 divided by 2. So if you have been given the ratio of compound interest and simple interest after 2 years, ratio, this one, then you can find the rate of interest. Okay, so all of these formulae are really important. Okay, in case of compound interest, simple interest, if you will see questions in exam, chances are you are getting the difference. Okay, because in traditional way it takes lots of time to solve these type of questions, है ना? क्लियर है ये? कोई डाउट है यहाँ पे? All right. So with that, we are done with simple and compound interest. Now we are going to talk about average mixture allegation. Average mixtures and allegation. Now, how do we find the average? So the concept of average is very simple, which is sum of all the terms divided by number of terms. Sum of all the terms divided by number of terms. Now, if what we can say that if terms are in AP, means arithmetic progression, terms are in arithmetic progression, then we can say that the average of all the terms will be equal to, what will be the average here? So that will be equal to first term plus last term divided by 2, okay, which can be written as second term plus second last term divided by 2. If numbers are in AP, you don't need to find the sum of all the values. You can simply find the average like this. Okay, first and last term should be known. Second and second last term should be known. Is same as sum of middle terms. Sum of middle terms divided by 2. When number of terms is even. When number of terms is even, you can use the middle term as well, and this is equal to, straight away we can say the average will be the middle term when number of terms is odd. If number of terms is odd, then the average will be the middle term, only the middle term, है ना? बहुत ज़्यादा हाथ पाँव मारने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, सिर्फ मिडिल टर्म से एवरेज निकाल सकते हैं. ऑल राइट. है क्या इसमें कोई डाउट? टेल मी इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट्स हियर. See, although we are here for formula revision, but अगर किसी को कहीं भी कोई भी कॉन्सेप्ट समझने में एग्जाम्पल्स चाहिए, then let me know. Okay, if you need any example to understand a particular formula, then let me know. Okay. Okay, so I guess we don't need any examples. Now, what about the next part of average? In case of average, we are talking about weighted average. So, weighted average. How do we find weighted average? So, let's say groups. There are some groups, let's say A1, groups, let's say G1, G2, G1, G2, G3 till Gm. Okay, and these groups have number of terms. Number of terms in these groups are N1, N2, N3 till Nm. And the average, this average could be anything. Average weight, average height, average age, average money with them. So average is given. Let's say the average is A1, A2, A3 till Am. Then what do we say? Weighted average. Weighted average of all the groups taken together. All the groups taken together will be equal to, what will be the weighted average? Let's denote it by AW. It will be N1 A1 plus N2 A2 plus N3 A3 till Nm Am divided by N1 plus N2 plus N3 till Nm. Okay, so find the sum of the products of number of terms and the average of each group, and then divide it by total number of terms in all the groups. Okay, mixture and delegation with example. Okay, Raj, we will take few examples. All right. Now, if we consider only two groups, okay, let's say we have group 1, we have group 2, and number of terms in group 1 is N1, group 2 is N2, and the average of these groups is A1 and A2. And then we know the weighted average. The weighted average AW will be equal to, what will be the weighted average? We can say this will be N1 A1 plus N2 A2 divided by N1 plus N2. Okay. Now we can simplify this. And we can also say that N1 by N2 will be equal to N2 minus, not N2, it will be AW minus A2 divided by A1 minus AW, or you can also write it as A2 minus AW divided by AW minus A1. Okay, this is what you can use to solve problems based on allegation. Okay, solve problems based on allegation. Let's say there is a class, note nahi hue. Okay, 1 second, I will go back. ओके हो गया रॉकी? Okay, so in these type of which type of questions we use this concept. Let's say number of boys is B in a class, number of girls is G in a class, okay, and the average marks of all the boys, the average marks of all the boys is 50, the average marks of all the girls is 70, and the weighted average of all the student is 57. The weighted average of all the students is 57. Then what we can say, what will be the ratio of number of students in number of students, a total number of boys and total number of girls. So in that case, we are going to write it as 70 minus 57 is to 57 minus 50. This will be our ratio of boys is to girls, or we can say B upon G will be equal to 13 upon 7. So this is how we can use allegation. Whenever we have three different kind of averages, we can use this average of one group, average of second group, and the weighted average of both the groups. Then you can use this method to find the ratio of number of terms in group 1 and group 2. Okay. Raj, this is how we use allegation concept. Is that clear now? Batao. These are marks, 50, 70 and 57 are marks of boys and girls and the whole class. So from there we can find number of boys upon number of girls. Okay, now let's say that what about the removal and replacement concept? Removal and replacement. Okay, so let's say we have initial volume is V, and in that V there is two different kind of elements, let's say milk and water. Okay, there is some initial percentage of milk, there is some initial ratio of milk is to water, or initial quantity of milk. Okay, and some part of the solution is taken out and replaced with water. Okay, some part of the solution is taken out, replaced with water. This process is repeated n times. Then how do we find the final volume of water, final volume of milk? So for that we can say that final volume is equal to initial volume into V minus X upon V to the power n. Okay, where V is initial volume of the mixture, initial volume of the mixture, and X is volume of the mixture, that is initial volume of the mixture, which is volume of the mixture which is being removed and replaced. What is n? N is the number of times same process is repeated. Number of times same process is repeated. This is how you can use it. Okay, let's say there is a 100-liter container of which 80 liter is milk. Okay, 100-liter container, 80 liter is milk. Then 15 liter of that container is being removed, replaced with water. Then again 15 liter of mixture is being removed, replaced with water. Then what will be the final volume of milk in the mixture? So how do we calculate? Final volume will be initial volume. What is the initial volume of milk? 80 into 100 is the initial volume of the mixture minus 15. 15 is the volume that is being removed, divided by 100 to the power 2, because n number of times the same process is being repeated is 2 times. If it's being repeated 3 times, we will use 3. If it's being repeated 4 times, we will use 4. But remember, if the same question is regarding finding the final volume of water in the mixture, then we are not going to use the initial volume of water here. Initial volume of water was 20 liter. We are not going to use that here. You will get the wrong answer. So किसका volume use करेंगे यहाँ पे? We will use the volume of the element which is being reduced every time. So if you are removing the mixture and adding water of the same volume, the quantity of milk is getting reduced, right? Milk की quantity कम हो रही है. So जिस content का, जिस element का quantity कम होगा, उसी का यहाँ पे volume use करेंगे. Now instead of volume, you can also use the percentage, initial percentage of the element or initial ratio. Whatever is given, you can use any of these, volume, ratio, percentage, but किसका यूज करेंगे? जिसकी क्वांटिटी कम हो रही है. ओके, उसका यूज नहीं करेंगे जिसकी क्वांटिटी बढ़ रही है. तो जो अभी स्टोरी मैंने सुनाई, that 100 liter mixture of which 80 liter is milk, 15 liter is being removed, and then 15 liter of water is being added, then you can use the volume 80 here only, not the 20. You need to find the volume of the milk, use volume of the milk. You want volume of the water, use the volume of the milk. Find the volume of the milk, subtract the volume of the water. Okay. So वही रॉकी वही जो एग्जाम्पल्स अभी मैं दे रहा हूँ, that 80 into 100 minus 15 upon 100 square. This will be the final volume. This will be the final volume of what? Milk. This will be the final volume of milk. If you want to find final volume of water, you will have to subtract this value to 100, because total volume तो अभी भी 100 है. Whatever this value is, subtract that value to 100, and then you will get the final volume of water. So if 80 liter is milk, 20 liter is water. So यहाँ पे बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स गलती ये करते हैं कि अगर यूज करना है तो वाटर भी यूज कर सकते हैं. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं करना है. ठीक है? Is that clear now? Arunendra, Rocky, if you want final volume of milk, you use this formula. If you want final volume of water, again you use this, and at the end you subtract this value to 100 to get the final volume of water. ऐसा नहीं करना है कि यहाँ 80 की जगह 20 यूज कर लिए. अब क्लियर है क्या करना है यहाँ पे? ठीक है? All right. Now, after mixture, average mixture and alligation, let's try to focus on time, speed and distance, which is a very important topic, right? Time, speed and distance. So, the basic formula that we know is the distance d is equal to speed into time. Speed is equal to distance upon time. Time is equal to distance upon speed. ये तो पता ही है ना? But if you're trying to find unit of speed is equal to usually kilometer per hour, or it's meter per second. Now how do we convert this kilometer per hour to meter per second, or meter per second to kilometer per hour, right? T is equal to S by D, right? S by D or D by S? Khush. T is equal to D by S. है ना? Related type question. Okay, Runin. So first we need to know the conversion. 1 kilometer per hour. 1 kilometer can be written as 1000 meter. 1 hour can be written as 3600 seconds. So you can cancel this out by 200. This will be 5, this will be 18. What we can say, that 1 kilometer per hour will be equal to 5 by 18 meter per second. So if you want to convert kilometer per hour to meter per second, you need to multiply the value by 5 by 18. Okay? जैसे मान लो अगर 10 किलोमीटर पर आवर है, so this will be equal to 10 into 5 by 18, which is equal to 25 by 9. This will be 25 by 9 meter per second. Okay? And if you have value in meter per second, let's say 14 meter per second, then in that case you need to multiply it by 18 by 5, which will be equal to 252 upon 5 kilometer per hour. So this is how you convert kilometer per hour to meter per second, or meter per second to kilometer per hour. All right. रॉकी इंस्टॉलमेंट आता है क्या? I have not seen many questions on installments, right? And installments is based on simple interest and compound interest question. Sorry, simple interest and compound interest concept, finding the future value and present value of each installment. Okay, so this is the conversion. Now, what do we know in case of time, speed and distance? That first case, if distance is constant, then we can say that S1 upon S2 will be equal to T2 upon T1. Then we can say if time is constant, if time T is constant, if time T is same in two different situations, what we can say, D1 by D2 is equal to S1 upon S2. Then comes the third point, which is if speed is constant. If speed is constant, then we can say that D1 by D2 is equal to T1 by T2. So these are the three proportionality concepts that can be used in many time speed distance problem. Time speed distance problems अगर solve करने में issue आ रही है, meaning you are not done with proportionality. You need to understand the proportionality well, try to practice few questions on it, then only you will be able to solve questions of further part of time, speed and distance, है ना? Otherwise you will be having problem. Okay, then after this there is this very important formula regarding time, speed and distance. Let's say two persons are starting from points X and Y, okay, starting from points X and Y, and they meet at point Z. they meet at point Z. Let's say A is starting from X going till Z, and then after Z he is going to Y. The time taken by A to reach Z from X is T. T second, T minute, it could be anything, okay? So let's say for reference this is T minutes. And after point Z, the time taken by A to reach Y is A minute. Then comes B, and the time taken by B is starting at point Y, same time as A. So of course, if both of them are starting at the same time, both of them will take the same time to meet. So B is also taking T minutes to cover the distance YZ. After that, B took B minutes to reach his destination, which is X. Then we get very important relation here. That relation is T square is equal to A into B. And the second relation is speed of A upon speed of B is equal to square root of B upon A. If you see these type of questions, it will be very direct. एकदम इस तरह के क्वेश्चन बहुत ही डायरेक्ट आएंगे कि A and B starting at two ends of the city or from two different cities, from two different points towards each other. A is going to the city of B, B is going to the city of A. They are starting at the same time, they are meeting in between. After meeting, A took some time, that time let's say A minute, to reach his destination Y. B took B minute to reach his destination X. Then what will be the ratio of A and B speeds? Then what will be the time taken by them to meet in between? Both of them you can find using these formulae, okay? Now, after this, we talk about average speed. Now, in case of average speed, what do we say? Average speed is equal to, this is not like the other averages that it's a average of speeds. No, that is not true. It will be total distance covered. Total distance covered divided by total time taken. Okay, total distance covered divided by total time taken. All right. Then in case of average speed, most of the questions the distance does not matter. All right, but there is a shortcut if situation is like this, that if same distance D is covered with speeds S1 and S2, then the same distance D is covered with speeds S1 and S2, then average speed in this kind of scenarios, average speed will be equal to 2S1 into S2 divided by S1 plus S2. If a person is going from point A to B, there is a point C in between. The distance between A to C is D. The distance between C to B is also D. And this person, his speed is S1 between A to C, and the speed is S2 between C to B. Then you can use this. Or there is another situation where you can use this, that a person is going from X to Y with speed S1 and coming back with speed s2. So in both the situation, in total return journey, what will be his average speed? So going with s1, coming with s2, the distance covered in both the situation is same, which is xy, right? Which is xy. So that's why you can also use the same formula here as well. All right. Okay, then comes relative speed. Now, किसको प्रॉब्लम थी रिलेटिव स्पीड में बताओ? ऑल ऑफ यू हु आर वॉचिंग, कहाँ पे किसे प्रॉब्लम है रिलेटिव स्पीड में? Runendra, are you there? No? Okay. What we can say that if two objects are moving with speeds s1 and s2, then the relative speed of one object with respect to other object point 1, relative speed SR is equal to speed 1 plus speed 2 when directions are opposite, when both the objects are moving in opposite direction, when both the objects are moving in opposite direction. Okay, ठीक है, when both the objects are moving in opposite directions. Then second, relative speed will be equal to the absolute difference between their speeds when objects are moving in the same direction, If direction is same, then we can say that the relative speed of one object will be taken as difference of the speed of other object. Then comes the third point, which says time taken by one object to cross or overtake other object. This will be equal to distance between the objects divided by their relative speed. Now I have written relative speed here because if they are moving in the same direction, both the objects are moving in the same direction, then we will take the difference of their speed. If both of them are moving in opposite direction, that opposite direction could be towards each other or away from each other. In that case, the relative speed will be s1 plus s2. ठीक है, जैसे मान लो कोई एग्जांपल ले लें इसमें, that let's say an object A is moving with 50 kilometer per hour and another object B is moving with 60 kilometer per hour. Now both directions are opposite and the distance between them is, let's say, 550 kilometer. So after how much time these two objects will cross each other. After how much time these two objects will cross each other? We can say time to cross will be equal to total distance, which is 550, divided by total speed. So we will take sum of speeds. So 50 plus 60, which is equal to 5 hours. Okay? 5 hours. Now, similar situation arises when we are talking about same direction. Let's say there is a thief, and this thief is 500 meter away from a police. Okay, this thief is 500 meter away from this police, and the thief is running with, let's say, 30 meter per second, or 30 meter per second is very high. So let's take something smaller, like 7 meter per second. Okay, and the police is running with 9 meter per second. So after how much time this police will catch this thief? This police will catch this thief. What will be the time here? You can use the same concept here, the formula that we discussed in the last page. The time will be equal to 500 divided by 9 minus 7, because both of them are moving in the same direction, right? So 250 seconds. This will be your answer. Or if you need to find what will be the total distance covered by the police, 250 into 9, which is equal to 2250 meters. So this is how the relative speed formulae work here. Okay. Arunendra, is that clear? The relative speed, how do we use the formula here? $250 seconds, right? Yes, Rocky. That is the correct answer. ठीक है? Clear? All right. If you have any particular question, Arunendra, in which you are struggling, then you can let me know. Okay, if you have any question, then you can also let me know. We will try to discuss it here to make you understand how that question could be solved in easier way. All right. Now, if we talk about time, speed, and distance, then what do we have? We have the concepts related to trains. We have concept related to trains. So what we can say, first one is time taken by a train to cross a person or a pole, right? A person who is standing, who is not moving, a person not moving, or you can take anything of significant like a building, or you can say a pole, anything. This will be equal to length of the train, length of the train divided by speed of the train. Okay, this is the time taken by the train to cross a person or a pole. Okay. Now, instead of a person, if there is a platform or a tunnel which has some length. A tunnel could be of big length, right? 2 kilometer, 3 kilometer, or a platform could be of big length. Do you guys know the longest platform of India? Which city has the longest railway platform in India? Tell me. Don't Google it, okay? Tell me if you know it. Kharagpur. Rocky, Kharagpur is very old. It used to be the longest platform, okay, but it's not for anymore. The Hubli station in Karnataka has the longest platform in India, okay. So, platform or tunnel could be of big length. So, what we can say, that time taken by a train to cross a platform is equal to sum of lengths of train and platform divided by, it will be divided by again speed of the train. Okay, this is how you find the time taken by a train to cross a platform or a tunnel or anything which has some significant length, anything which length is mentioned in the question, all right. Then comes time taken by two trains to cross or overtake each other. To cross or overtake each other, this will be equal to sum of lengths of both trains divided by relative speed. Now again I am writing relative speed here because if they are moving towards each other, we will add the speeds, and if they are moving in the same direction, we will subtract the speeds. Okay, that's why sum of the length of the trains divided by relative speed. All right. All right. Then comes this very important concept which can confuse you if you see these type of question, like time taken by train A to cross a person sitting idle in train B. Can anyone tell me what will be this time? Tell me, क्या टाइम लगेगा time taken by train A to cross a person sitting idle in train B. What will be this time? Tell me. We are revising, right? So you should be aware of these things. I'm waiting for your answer, guys. Rocky, Khushi, Arunendra. Tell me, do you know the answer of this question? So this is equal to length of train A. Now this is the twist here. We only going to count the length of train A divided by relative speed. But in case of speed, we are going to take the speeds of both the trains into consideration. Okay? Why? Because this person sitting idle in the second train, in train B, is also moving with the same speed as the train B, right? So that's why we are going to consider the speed of train B as speed of this person. That's why we are going to consider the speed of both the trains. But in case of length, we are going to consider the length of only one train, which is crossing the other one. Okay? Okay. Now, next is boat and streams. In case of boat and streams, boat and river, we can also say, let's take B is equal to speed of the boat and R is equal to speed of the stream or river, speed of the stream or river. Now in this scenario, when boat and river are moving, both of them are moving in the same direction, okay, then we call it downstream. So when direction is same, then we can say downstream speed will be equal to B plus R. And when direction of boat and the river, when directions are opposite, the boat is moving in the opposite direction to the direction of the river, then we call it upstream. And what will be the speed of the boat in upstream? Upstream speed will be equal to B minus R. Okay. Now let's say this is equal to D and this is equal to U. So in this case, if D and U is given, what we can say? If D and U are given, then we can say that B will be equal to D plus U by 2 and R will be equal to D minus U by 2. So if boat and river speeds are given, we can find downstream speed, upstream speed. If downstream speed, upstream speeds are given, we can find speed of the boat and the speed of the river. Okay. Then comes linear races. In case of time, speed and distance. Now we are at linear races, and in case of linear races, what we can say that if A beats B by X meters in a race of D meters, then we can find the ratio of speed of A upon of speed of B, which will be equal to D upon D minus X. This will be the ratio of speed of A and speed of B. Now, if A beats B by T second in a race, that means time taken by A will be equal to, let's say this is TA, and time taken by B will be equal to TA plus T. So what we can say, speed of A upon speed of B will be equal to time taken by B, total time taken by B is TA plus T, total time taken by A is TA. This will be the ratio of their speeds, because both of them are covering the same distance. In this case, if you see statement like this, it means that both of them are covering the whole distance, and the time taken by B is T second more than A. Example, okay, note it down, then I'll give you an example. Noted? Okay guys, tomorrow we are going to have speed maths calculation session, okay, 4:30 to 6 p.m. we are going to have speed maths calculation, how to multiply 2 digit into 2 digit, 3 digit into 3 digits, how to find the squares, how to find cubes in quicker way, in faster way, okay. So be there. So if we talk about the example, what we can say, so first one, A beats B by 15 meter in a race of 120 meter. So what will be the ratio of speed of A and B? So speed of A upon speed of B. When A is able to cover 120, B is able to cover 120 minus 15 only, means 120 upon 105, which will be equal to 8 upon 7, okay. Then the second one, A beats B by 5 seconds in a race if A took, let's say, 15 seconds to finish the race. To finish the race. Then what we can say? That speed of A upon speed of B will be equal to, what will be the time taken by B to finish the race? It will be 15 plus 5. What will be the time taken by A to finish the race? This is 20 upon 15, which can be written by 4 by 3. अब आई बात समझ में, how to use this formula. Okay. Is that clear now, Rocky? All right then. Then comes the next one, the third type in linear races, that if A gives B a head start of X meters, okay, and the race ends in a tie. The race ends in a tie. Then we can say again, speed of A upon speed of B will be equal to D upon D minus X, where D is equal to length of the race. Length of the race. So in that kind of situation, A is giving B an advantage of standing ahead of A by X meters. And then both of them will start the race at the same time. Both of them will start running at the same time. B is standing X meter ahead of A. Both of them are finishing the race at the same time, because the race is ended in a tie, right? Then in that situation, how do we find the ratio of speed? Because A will be able to cover the whole distance D. B will be able to cover the D minus X only. So time is constant. In that case, ratio of speed will be same as ratio of distances covered. ठीक है? Then if it says that if A gives B a head start of X meters and still beat him by Y meters, then can you tell me the speed of A and B in this situation? What will be the speed of B in this situation? Rocky, Arunendra, Kush, Khushi. Can you tell me the ratio of speed of A and B in this situation? So in this kind of situation, what is happening? A started from this point and A finished here. But B started X meter ahead of A and finished Y meter behind A. This is X and this is Y. So D was able to cover only D minus X plus Y distance. So what we can say, that speed of A upon speed of B is equal to D upon D minus X plus Y. This is the formula that can be directly used if you get a question like this to find the ratio of speed of A and B. ठीक है, क्लियर है? जितने टाइम में A पूरा डिस्टेंस कवर कर रहा है उतने टाइम में B इतना ही D माइनस एक्स प्लस वाई डिस्टेंस कवर कर रहा है, राइट? सो दैट इज आवर आंसर. ठीक है. Okay then. So with that we are done with time, speed and distance. Now if we talk about time and work, what we can say? Time and work. Now in case of time and work, again if we take work is equal to W, E is equal to rate of work, okay, or we also call it efficiency, and T is equal to time. Then what can we say? That W is equal to E into T. Total work is equal to E into T, efficiency, rate of work into time. And then we can say again the same concept as time and work, time, speed and distance, that if work is constant, then we can say that E1 by E2 will be equal to T1 by T2 by T1. Then we can say if E is constant, if E is constant, then we can say W1 by W2 will be equal to T1 by T2. And if T is constant, then we can say W1 by W2 will be equal to E1 by E2. So this is the relation between work, efficiency and time in different scenarios. Okay. Then in time and work there are not many formulae, okay, because you need to solve them as per the question. There could be multiple format of question, but in all the questions you need to work differently. Okay, so you need to have a proper understanding of the concepts and then you can solve the question. So there is not many formulae here, but one formula that I can give you, that if A can do a work in A days, if A can do a work in A days and B can do the same work, in B days, then A and B working together will complete the work in, this will be A into B divided by A plus B, this many days. Okay. If number of days of A is given, if number of days required for B is given, then in how many days A and B will finish the work? This will be A into B upon A plus B. Okay. Then the second one, if A and A plus B takes X days, A takes X plus A days, B takes X plus B days to finish the same work, then what we can say? Then we can say x square is equal to square root of AB. X square is equal to square root of AB. This is very important. Okay. You will get a question in the same formatting that A and B together can do a work in this many days. A takes 5 days more than this, B takes 10 days more than this. Then what will, in how many days A and B together will complete the work? So you can use this concept to find the answer. Okay. Okay, then comes the chain rule. What is chain rule? So if Wi is equal to work, Mi is equal to number of men, Di is equal to number of days, and Hi is equal to hours, number of hours, then we can say that W1 by W2 will be equal to M1 into D1 into H1 divided by M2 into D2 into H2. है ना? So you must have seen these type of question. 10 person working 10 days, 10 hours per day can complete a work. Then 20 person working 25 days, working how many hours will complete triple of that work. In those kind of situations, you can use this formula directly. Okay. W1 by W2 is equal to M1 into D1 into H1 divided by M2 into D2 into H2. ठीक है? Clear now? So okay everyone, with that we are done with the session today. Alright, I hope you got to know all the formulae that is required in these 4 chapters: time, speed, distance, time and work, averages, mixture alligation, and simple interest and compound interest. I tried to cover almost every single formula that could be used in the question in your syllabus. Alright, so I'll be back tomorrow with the next session, which is going to be speed maths, which is going to be way too much fun. Alright, so I will see you guys there. Thank you.